met at a convention.
At a convention.
A book convention?
That was what the poem is.
Uh-huh. And Mom, what were your first recollections of Dad at the convention? Dad, I'm going to give you your turn too. Don't worry.
Well, first of all, he was much taller. I think he shrank a little. He was tall and thin and very nice looking.
Mm-hmm. So things haven't changed?
And he's still good looking. And he was an Orthodox boy.
Mm-hmm.
Nice family. And I sort of went for him.
Besides being tall, dark, and handsome, and thin,
yes.
What else do you remember about him?
Very kind.
Uh-huh.
And he still is.
He was doing people favors even in those days?
Yes, he was very good-natured, and I figured it's not bad to have a husband like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, Amen. And, of course, he gave me wonderful children. That's amazing.
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Now, Ari wants to know a little bit more about Bensi and what happened to Bensi and how he unfortunately died.
Well, I tell you what happened.
He was living in Paris.
Wait just a minute. When Bensi was born, things were very, very bad financially, and father didn't make a living, and he was like...
And where was he born?
He was undernourished. He was born in Swallowup.
In Swallowup, before you moved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was born, and my mother was already, I think she was older when she gave birth to him.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't develop properly, and unfortunately he died.
And would he have tuberculosis or something?
No,
or?
no.
Just all of a sudden?
No, not all of a sudden. He was ailing. He was never 100%
Uh-huh.
right. He wasn't born 100%.
And he was in the hospital, or?
No.
No?
Yeah, he died, sure.
He died. Well, he had some surgery, but I don't remember what.
Kind of a growth.
Well,
Uh-huh.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
All right, whatever.
Okay. And then Jack was working in in New York.
Jack was.
How did he get into diamonds?
I guess he had friends who were in it, and they got him in.
Mm-hmm. And what did you hear from Chana?
Lived in Zwickau, Saxony, down south, and things were getting bad with Hitler, and so they tried to, and we were the only relatives that they had in the States, so we got papers and...
I talk about these what,
from Germany?
From
Swallowup?
No,
from Germany.
Saxony?
From Saxony, Germany.
Yeah, and where did they go from there?
They
well, actually,
came.
they went to Israel. They couldn't come.
They didn't come here.
So they went to Israel?
They didn't come to America. They went to Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Tel Aviv.
And that's where Chana was?
They had to go through Turkey.
That's where Hannah went.
Uh-huh.
She went
with her husband and with Freddie, I guess.
Right, with Freddie as a baby.
Hannah went.
Hannah went with Freddie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a baby, and they took him and they left.
Must have got it there about 1937, something like that.
Yeah, 30, yeah. It was the year before we left.
Okay, now tell me about your children.
Oh, well, you left out some other sister, brother. I mean, another sister, Malka.
Malka, okay.
Yeah, Malka. Malka was no, just a minute. Malka, number one, she was born on Hungarian soil as they were fleeing in World War I. They were fleeing the Russians, and she happened to be born on Hungarian soil. So
right.
She had a Hungarian passport, birth certificate, and the quota was closed, so she couldn't come with us to America. The Hungarian quota was...
So then she ended up going to Israel with Imra. Was that before they were married or after?
Before.
She went to Israel, and where did she meet Imra?
She met him also, I think, in Prague.
Uh-huh.
She had lived in Prague, and she met him in Prague. And then they went to Palestine.
Now let's get back to the kids, though. What are your first recollections, I guess, about Helen, your oldest, and living with your new husband and your new daughter?
My new husband? I didn't have an old one. Well, Helen was our first. And we were very happy to have a girl first, because girls bring mazel for the other children. That's what they used to tell me. And she was a very good baby, and we were very happy with her.
So you decided to have another one?
Well, of course. What's one child? One is none. Right?
Okay, so then you had?
So then we had another one, another little girl, and then we a very happy event because a sister needs a sister, and that worked out very nicely. And then
that's when we moved to Muncie. You
let's
want to
see.
write down where we lived? I mean, write down. Tell them where we lived when we got married.
Yeah, where did you first live when you got married?
We lived in.
Your parents.
No. When we first married, we lived in my parents' house.
And where did they live? In Patterson?
No, in Patterson. Oh.
Uh-huh.
But he's asking me things to go on.
And then we found an apartment.
It was going to be easy, did you?
Oh, God. But it's a good thing for me to remember it.
Yeah?
So wait, so we met in Patterson?
You were in Patterson when we met.
Yeah.
I had to get married very quickly because we couldn't go so far with the buses, you know.
Yeah,
It was hard to go on dates.
Yeah.
right. It was terrible.
I didn't have a car even.
No, he came by bus.
And where did you live then, Dad?
We lived, at that time, we were living in Crown Heights already.
Wow, so that was some trip.
Yeah.
And you went all the way to Patterson for...
No, not so,
For a
another
date.
way. It's 6 weeks we met and we got engaged.
6
and
weeks
6
later, we
weeks
had to
later got
rush it
married.
because it was terrible. It was
Imagine 12 weeks we got married.
after 12 weeks, we were married.
Uh-huh.
Just before Pesach.
So you lived in your parents' house in Patterson?
For not,
short
well, not for long. No, just
Too
for
much
short.
till we found an apartment in Patterson.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And what
we built in it. We lived in a shul. Our first home was in
Yeah.
440 East 36th Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was a shul. Rabbi Tenenbaum.
Right, Rabbi Tenenbaum's
So tell me about your recollections of the 3 kids and how they were different and how were and their personalities. Oh, you got Ari here too.
Well, Helen was the first, so she had the most difficult because she had nobody really to help her with the thing. And she did fine though. She didn't get as good a mark as Rebecca.
Mm-hmm. So Rebecca was more of the student?
She was more the studious, yeah.
And was Helen more of the social butterfly, or?
Yeah, Helen was more like me and Rebecca was more like him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, he was always a good student, Rebecca was always a good student, and Helen always got by.
Mm-hmm.
Helen was mostly, she liked music and she liked gym, and that was my thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What else?
And Danny?
And Danny, he had the best of everything. He had everything that I had it very good.
We had moved to a new house when Danny was born.
Yeah, when Danny
But we only had 2 bedrooms.
we had a 2-bedroom house, and then
So then you moved from Patterson to Muncie, or moved somewhere else in between?
Oh yeah, we had Jackson Heights for about a year.
we lived in
Yeah,
Jackson
we got an
Heights also
apartment,
a year.
apartment
Yeah.
house.
Mhm.
Same house as Pumi and Rhoda.
Really?
Same building. Yeah, we were neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
And tell us about the 3 kids interacting together. How did they get along well or not?
My 3 children?
Yeah.
Well, Helen and Rebecca were always close. 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
But Danny, there was a big age difference, and he had his friends, and the girls had their friends. They got along very nicely.
And there were no fights in the house at all?
You speak to the girls,
Yeah, interview the girls.
Well, I will. I intend to. But I heard a story where you went away for the weekend and there was a hole in the wall somehow.
Who told you that?
I heard Bertie.
Oh my God. Yes, well, they did have their fights, like normal children.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I have to admit that.
And we're gonna talk about these kids getting older. Thank you, Ari. And we'll talk about Helen, Rebecca, and Danny, and they're meeting their Basherts. So first we'll talk about Helen. And Helen was getting older, I know, and she was going out with a few people, and then and then she finally met Jackie.
Yeah. Well, are you filming already?
Yes, of course.
Oh, well, I tell you
But this is very natural, so you can feel just at ease, and you say the same thing if you're on tape or not.
Yeah, good. Well, the thing is that we mothers my friends and I, we all decided the best way to meet a boy is you make a party in your home and you invite boys.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. And we had a nice group of boys, and we made a very nice party. And these were already girls ready to
get married.
And
Helen was in her 20s by then, no?
yeah, she was in her early 20s, and you know, things were going slowly, you know. And
so you try to speed things up a little.
Charlie, you weren't in the house. How would you know?
I was at the party.
You were in Helen's party?
Sure.
You were?
Of course.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, I'll ask Rebecca later, of course.
Anyway, so Helen was at, Helen met Jackie there, and Jackie fell in love with her right away.
Is that why he moved to Chicago?
No, I think he lived in
I don't think they moved together. Did he move there?
No, I think first he went to school there, and then...
he went to school there.
And then he came back, and they decided to get married quick.
Right.
So they wouldn't be
you know more
separated.
than I do.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking your recollections, though.
Yes,
I'm gonna have to get Helen and Jackie for the real story.
yeah, for the real one. Okay. The Tucker, he went to study in Chicago. He got his master's there, and Helen left with him there.
So now, how come you decided on this party and not a shidduch?
I was not the shidduch type.
And nor was Helen.
I met him normally also at an affair, and I didn't. I wasn't desperate. I mean, I had good quality, good merchandise, as my husband would say.
Okay.
So I felt that I didn't need any shidduch, and my children didn't need it, and hopefully yours wouldn't need it either.
Well, hopefully not. Now,
So,
what
it's
about?
not a bad thing, shidduch.
No.
Don't think.
Now, what about Rebecca?
Rebecca, she, let's see how to go with Rebecca. You go to lady. Wait. How did she meet you?
We met actually, I think, at a basketball game.
Oh yeah, she was into sports. Yeah.
I think it was a basketball game of the high school. Actually, she wasn't playing and I wasn't playing. We just went, and I think we met there. We had mutual friends.
Oh, now you tell me.
And what were your first recollections of our relationships? I mean, what did you think of me?
Well, I was wondering how she picked the redhead. But she's not red anymore. I approved that. You know, naturally I approved. She picked you. You must be special.
But in the beginning, I mean, she didn't pick me. We just started. I kept hounding her.
Yeah. Okay. You had very good taste.
Obviously. But now I remember Rebecca mentioning the fact that you thought I didn't look Jewish.
Oh, well, that's for sure. And I kept on asking, you know, are they religious? Are they, he's mine, you know, he went to yeshiva and he's really so, all right, I trusted her, you know.
Okay.
And I approved.
Okay, and now Danny and Roz, what do you remember about that relationship?
Oh, you're asking me questions. Danny and Roz, how did they meet?
Well, the first time they met, they went to Israel together.
Oh, right.
They
They went on a trip together, but nothing happened then. It didn't click then. But then he remembered her. She was on the trip to Israel with him, and he took her number anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they started dating. And there, who?
And one thing led to another.
Right.
I'm